I really do want to understand what our period tells us about our health. What are the red flags that we need to watch out for?
Period pain is common, it is not normal. If you are popping a painkiller, it's a red flag. What do people feel about their period? I hate my period. It's such a nuisance.
Yeah.
I don't like it. This narrative, as women, we need to change it. It'll only happen when we understand our period better and we sync with it. You cannot balance your hormones without balancing your blood sugars. Period. Your blood sugar balance is the first thing. Every Indian woman needs around 80 grams of protein. I'm not saying take it right away, but at least let's start because some are getting 30 grams.
When you have your period and you go through like a heavy period or like a painful period or missed period, you just are told that this is part of being a woman. Go through it. It's normal. But is it normal? When is it not?
Your period is like your report card. You know?
Oh gosh.
I know. It sounds, but it's a good way to judge what has happened in the whole month.
You are one of the top nutritionists we have.
I mean, you've been doing this for 15 years now.
Yeah.
I really want for you to give my listeners the top 5 things that they need to be doing for their reproductive health and for their overall health and well-being. Things that they can do in an inexpensive manner to take back the control over their lives. Hi guys, welcome back to Take 20. I get a lot of messages from women asking about hormones, weight gain, mood swings, and just how to live better in their bodies. I think that there's a gap between understanding how food and lifestyle can impact our health, and there are questions that need answering, and which is why I have Rashi today, an expert on the matter. I really do want to understand what our period tells us about our health.
Yeah.
What are the red flags that we
Yeah.
need to watch out for? And can nutrition and lifestyle changes actually make a difference to our reproductive health?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when you have your period and you go through sometimes like a heavy period or like a painful period or missed period, you just are told that this is part of being a woman.
No.
It's go through it. It's normal. It's very normal. But is it normal? When is it not?
You mean period pain?
Yes, period pain. Like, so is it okay to just pop a pill every month for the pain and push through?
So if we talk specifically about period pain, right?
Yeah.
Look, we were talking about in our previous episode as well that period is an inflammatory process. What happens is that something called as prostaglandins is secreted. They are these chemicals which go into the uterus and they cause contractions. Now that is important because that's how the blood will come out onto your pad or tampon, right? So these contractions are important. Prostaglandins are important. The problem is when there is too much prostaglandins, you'll have too much contraction. You'll have too much pain. Period pain is common. It is not normal. If you are popping a painkiller, it's a red flag. If it's coming in the way of your life,
Right.
it is a red flag. It's the most natural process, right? Why should it be? Why is it normal for it to be painful? It's not normal. You will have discomfort because of the prostaglandins. There'll be a little bit of discomfort, of course, but that doesn't mean that your life has to come to a standstill. I used to not go to school, missed exams, fainted. I have stitches right here because I fainted once and
So I never had, I almost, didn't know when I had a period. Like, it was that easy for me. But the last year has been very, very difficult. The same thing, I almost fainted from the pain. It has been excruciating pain, like it's torturous.
but you
and
should-
why is that?
because you are probably now estrogen dominant and estrogen is going and creating these, remember we spoke about it, there's more. So you should check your CA1. Anyone who's watching and who feels like their period pain is unbearable, check your CA125. It's a cancer marker, but generally in endometriosis, it's higher. So women who have it, that's the one way to catch it.
So CA 125. If you're having insane
period pain.
pain, like
Yeah.
where you feel like you're going to pass out,
Yeah.
you have to check CA 125.
Or you've been popping painkillers all your life.
No, not all my life. Just now I can't process the pain. Like usually I can handle, I can push through the pain, but this is,
Yeah.
yeah. So I do.
I think, yeah.
I do take a painkiller Almost every month.
Yeah,
yes.
almost every month.
Yes.
So then you have to check for estrogen dominance because this is very common, right? Our progesterone goes down really quickly. So we become relative estrogen dominant. And then estrogen plays these tricks with us. So we got to be a little bit careful, especially during perimenopause. But for now, for painful period, if it's it's a girl in her 30s, early 30s, 25, 26, whatever, or even teenagers going through too much painful period,
Right.
it's not normal at all.
It's not normal.
It should feel like it's come and gone. That's how it's supposed to feel.
So what are you supposed to do? How do you fix it?
There are a lot of things, but I do want to say that if someone watching is in this critical condition, then the stuff I'm about to say is not going to help because the stuff I'm saying is normal period pain, where either it's a prostaglandin imbalance, which is too much prostaglandins, or estrogen dominance.
Okay.
If it's just these two things, what I'm about to say will help. And this first thing that I'm going to say is very effective, but no Indians like it. Give up. Okay, not give up. Let's reduce the amount of gluten.
Okay, but I'm gluten free.
You are, but
But I still get the pain.
no, but then there are so many other
Which
is why I'm
okay,
like
so you're saying that being gluten free will help this. But don't you think that most Indians, oh, okay, yeah, the roti, but the rice is gluten free.
rice is gluten free, but bread, pasta, pizza, who's eating only roti? Especially the young girls. And also, again, I want to mention this. If you feel you are gluten free and you still have massive pain,
Right.
you have to check for fibroids, endometriosis, adenomyosis. There are a lot of other things which we can get into. Right now, I'm talking about normal period pain,
So, like,
right?
go check with your healthcare provider, like a gynecologist, and
Gynecologist, but you
get a few tests done.
endometriosis, for example, takes 8 years to diagnose. It's misdiagnosed many times, but again, coming back to period pain.
Right.
The thing is that if you have just a prostaglandin imbalance or just a basic estrogen dominance issue, gluten will definitely solve it. Reduce it, eliminate it, see what happens in a month. And then during your period, of course, there are things you can do. Now, I would, if a client comes to me sick, complaining about this, when she ovulates, right, that middle part, when you ovulate, from there till your end of your luteal phase, till she gets a period, I would double down on magnesium because magnesium is a muscle relaxant.
So, but there are different kinds of magnesium. Which magnesium?
So if someone is constipated, I would do magnesium citrate. If somebody finds it hard to recover from their workouts, it would be magnesium glycinate.
Okay.
If someone doesn't have problems with their constipation or whatever, I would just stick to magnesium glycinate.
Okay. At night?
At night would be ideal. But some people, again, this is why nutrition, the future of nutrition is going to be individualized.
I know.
Because some people, at night when they have magnesium, they get switched on.
Really?
They don't
I
get
thought
sleep
it
at night.
relaxes you.
It's supposed to, but some people do feel like, oh, I'm feeling very awake. So yeah. So I would double down on, and then of course omega-3. But you want a good omega-3. Not
What is a good
random one.
omega-3?
Good omega-3 is turn your packet around. EPA and DHA needs to be above 800. Most people in India are buying substandard, which is 200, 150. That's the word. That's the word
anything?
cut it. No.
So, EPA and DHA above 800.
800. That's when you know it's a good brand and it's doing good to you. And of course, there are many other things you can look for, but this is the basic.
Right.
At least start with this. So this is, another hack or whatever you want. Then dry ginger, salt. Have you heard of salt?
Yes.
This, don't quote me on this because I don't know what the study is, but apparently
Don't quote you on this. This is there.
no, in the sense I
We are
can't remember
quoting
this-
you on this.
I don't remember the study.
Okay.
But I've done this on Instagram and I remember we had linked the study and I can't remember the exact study. But when you have 5
Blame it on the
grams-
perimenopause.
Yeah. Why not? No, but when you have 5 grams of dry salt, that is equivalent to an ibuprofen, apparently. At
So,
one
you soak it or you just put it in water?
put it in water, boil it, and then have that pani.
Okay.
That is one. Because dry gingerol is the active ingredient which will bring down these prostaglandins. Right? So that's how it works. Then kalonji, black seed oil. Kalonji.
Yeah.
So 1 teaspoon of that in licorice tea. If you have this, it has something called as thymoquinone, which is the active ingredient, which will
So
again
this is when I'm in my
on your period.
on my period when I'm experiencing intense pain.
Yeah.
But the ginger and the magnesium and the omega is just like overall.
No, I think this dry salt is also specifically, it's best if you do it around this time. And I'm only saying this because there are some people who are like, ginger's too heaty for me. Have you heard people saying this?
No, but is it?
Some people say this. It's very Ayurvedic thing. to
right,
say.
right.
And I'm not, I don't specialize in Ayurveda at all.
Okay.
So I wouldn't know, but a lot of people feel like that they get too much acne or whatever if they have too much ginger. So this is specifically if you struggle with terrible period pain and you don't want to take a pill.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when is it, like, the last time I fainted from the pain. So is that a cue for me to go to the hospital, to go to the doctor, or
So
it can happen?
I mean, I would, if you're saying it's been a year and you're struggling with it,
On and off, actually. Not every single month,
Yeah.
but probably fair enough of...
I think CA 125 is the first thing I would ask you to do or anybody else. If you are constantly popping a painkiller, or if you had 3 periods where you're having a painkiller, you feel like it's interfering in the middle of your life. You feel like you also have painful sex. You also feel like you have endobelly. It's called the endobelly. Like suddenly you're bloated. You know, people who have fibroids also have this. Suddenly they're bloated and they're like, I didn't eat anything different. I'm bloated.
Yes, I've heard that.
Extreme constipation. People who feel very constipated. These are and unexplained infertility. These are the times where you just go and check with your doctor what's going on.
Right.
You know, why is the pain so much? This is pain along with all of these things. There's also silent endometriosis
Without the pain?
without the pain. And then women realize it only when they're infertile, like when they are labeled as, that's when they realize that, oh God, all this time I've had endometriosis, which is silent. So I didn't know about it. And that's why they're not.
So how often would you suggest a woman goes to see her gynec? Because we often go only when there is an issue.
Problem.
And I don't think that that's the right way to do it, is it?
I think I go once in 6 months.
Once in 6 months.
Just get your basic tests done, get your scans done. There's no harm,
Right. Yeah. Okay. And but this seems interesting because I haven't done any of these, like
Yeah.
the black seed oil with licorice tea, and magnesium I do.
Yeah.
Omega I do.
Yeah. You're doing
and-
the right omega.
Yes, the right omega I am doing.
Castor oil packs you need to try.
Castor oil packs. I've heard that castor oil is magic.
Like,
What do you mean by castor oil packs?
so literally, all you do is you take castor oil, rub it really well, and then put like a white cloth, muslin cloth around it. And then sleep because it'll dirty your t-shirt or whatever. I don't know if you...
Castor oil packs.
Yeah.
And then the dried ginger.
Dried ginger, kalonji. Raw cacao works very well. 10 grams has this active ingredient called theobromine, which will work as a vasodilator. So it dilates your blood vessels, so you feel a bit more relaxed.
Yeah, but the raw cacao.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems like a plan. And that's good. So the next...
But also, I want to say gluten. And it's not for you.
Gluten-free, yes,
This is not
yes,
for you,
yes,
but this is
yes.
because we do the gut cleanse.
Yes.
For the last 3.5 years,
Absolutely.
I'm doing this gut cleanse every 15 days. The number of women who come and say, listen, my period pain is gone. And it's because the gluten was causing all this inflammation.
So when you say a gut cleanse, what do you mean by a gut cleanse?
So we do a gut cleanse. We follow this. It's basically, we call it a gut cleanse, but what it is an elimination diet. We eliminate a lot of things which I know over the years, from my experience, doesn't work for a lot of people. So we'll eliminate all the inflammatory stuff. Gluten, dairy, sugar, lentils, soy, all this is out. And then gradually it's added back.
Right.
To see what was the culprit.
Yeah, but this it seems like everything takes time. Where everybody just reaches out for that quick fix. But these things take time.
Yeah.
So how much investment of time before we start seeing changes? Especially for like painful periods.
So sometimes that's what I'm saying. At the gut cleanse, I've seen within 15 days, they'll suddenly see a change. They'll be like,
wow.
oh, I did not pop a painkiller. Or I'm over my next CMO. That's obviously for gut-related issues. But a lot of times, I'm not getting acne anymore. But before my luteal phase, I got no acne.
Right.
Some people get acne just before their period. But if they've done this for 15 days, suddenly they see. But some people take longer. Generally, for a period, you observe patterns. You don't go by one period. So for 3 continuous periods, you have to be pain-free. You have to not have acne. You have to feel like, estrogen dominance is not there. All that happens over time.
Right.
So for anything to change in the period, give it 3 months.
Give it 3 months.
Yeah.
So I think we've covered painful periods. Now, what about heavy flow, light flow?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
how heavy is too heavy? And some all sound like me have too light. So
Yeah. So a heavy period is when you are bleeding more than 80 ml of blood. That means more than 12 regular pads in the whole cycle. I mean, in the whole 3-4 days. So suppose someone has a period for 5 days or 4 days, whatever. And she is using every day 5 pads. Suppose, right? But the pad has to be full. All of us have a habit of like, every time we go to the bathroom, we want to change. That's not called a full pad, right? But if you've had full 10 to 12 pads, it's gone beyond, then it's a heavy period because it's more than 80 ml of blood.
Right. And what could be causing that?
3 things. Estrogen, dominance, again.
You said estrogen was queen bee. She seems to be creating a lot of problems.
Dominance, no?
Right.
If she's too much, she's going to build more.
Right.
So what is happening when you are bleeding too much? The endometrial lining is crumbling out. It's not just blood. It's endometrial lining, a lot of other things, right?
Yeah, right.
And what Queen Bee has done is that she's overbuilt the lining because she's dominant.
Right.
So now, when you're getting your period, either they're coming as clots or too much of blood is coming out because the lining is too thick. So estrogen dominance. Second, estrogen dominance only, but relative, which means estrogen is fine, but progesterone is low. So you're relatively estrogen dominant.
Right.
That can cause it as well. This happens during perimenopause, can happen. And third is low iron levels, low ferritin levels. We need iron to build our uterine lining and to for the blood vessels.
I think most women in India are anemic.
Yeah,
They're iron deficient. Why is that?
because in our food, where is the iron? I love meat. I eat a chicken every day. I eat lamb. I eat all of that. I don't get one chicken breast, 100 grams, has 1 mg of iron. When I'm a menstruating woman, any menstruating woman, 18 mg is what we need. A chicken breast has only 1 mg. So who are these people talking about? Let's get iron from spinach and, dates.
So how do you get your iron then?
You have to take a supplement.
You have to always take an iron supplement?
You should take an iron supplement. If your levels are not okay, if your ferritin levels are low, we need iron.
How much of iron?
So I would recommend 30 mg of iron. There's a brand that I love. It's called Sideral. And I swear by this one because there are people who take iron and then they have constipation. I don't know if
Right,
you've heard of
right.
this.
I heard of that, yes.
But Sideral, and if anybody feels like that's also tough for them to handle, then go for the liquid one.
right.
But get a good brand because you're not getting it from food. Globally, our topsoil is depleted.
Right.
Where will we get it from food? So it's really challenging, which is why women need to. And just because you eat meat doesn't mean you'll have your iron. You'll still struggle.
Right.
So yeah,
So you said now
low ferritin levels.
low ferritin levels and again estrogen dominance.
Yeah.
And what else?
The progesterone going too low. So the estrogen is dominant. So what are the solutions then?
Right. What are the solutions?
With estrogen, it's very important to understand there's a rule. You use it and lose it. She can't stay in your body. You have
Right.
to use it and lose it.
Right.
So
How do I lose it?
this entire process of use it and lose it is called estrogen detoxification. Everything is happening in your liver.
And then
In 2 phases. Phase 1 is you use it. So estrogen, your liver takes this estrogen, turns it into 4 different metabolites, 4 different forms. So it can be used in the body. Okay? And then is the next phase. Most of us do use it very well, but we struggle with lose it. We're not able to lose it because either we are constipated, not exercising. How will you lose estrogen? By peeing it out, pooping it out, or by sweating it out, right? A lot of times this lose it phase is where we struggle. And again, one of the ways to do it is to eat the right food, balance your cycle syncing, all of the stuff that we spoke about, right?
Right.
Also, in this phase, you need a lot of amino acids. Your liver needs a lot of support. So eating the right stuff to support your liver is what you need to do for balancing estrogen.
Okay, which is again
Lot of green leafy vegetables, lot of cruciferous vegetables, taking a DIM supplement, which is a diindolylmethane, methane, which we spoke about, that can do wonders, but people close to menopause cannot have it. So that's definitely something they should keep in mind. And I love green juices for this phase, but not the ones which are high in oxalate. So not your spinach and kale. Oh, raw kale, raw spinach is out. Too many oxalate.
what is green juice then?
So green juice would be celery, cucumber. This is a very low oxalate one, the one that I'm saying. Celery, cucumber, ginger, fresh turmeric, water, and lime.
Oh wow! So it's just mostly celery and cucumber.
Celery, cucumber, both of these things. And then all these other things you can add. I love adding collagen to this.
Right.
You know, just add.
But
that.
the collagen is such a.
Everyone has their own take on it.
What do you feel about collagen?
I mean, I've been using it for a long time. I've been very happy with it. In fact, now it's been 6 months. I've not really properly gotten onto it. And I'm like, why am I not doing it?
Right.
But even Haberman, because we were talking about him,
Yeah.
he did this research and he spoke about it as well.
Huberman takes collagen?
No, he spoke about how
Okay.
he did the research on it and then, you know, it came up in one of his podcasts that 3 months of that, in fact, he put up pictures as well because I remember this because I reposted it, can help with wrinkle lines.
I agree, you know, because I do hear everyone talk about the fact that it's the most useless supplement is supposed to be collagen, but I still take it. I love it. I definitely do feel a difference. My skin, my hair, my nails. I'm not imagining this.
The thing is that, look, it could be many factors. Your lifestyle is perfect, right? Seems like you sleep on time, you're eating really well, whatever little bit that we've spoken. So then, again, collagen is not going to suddenly take your wrinkles away. You have to sleep on time.
Correct. Yeah.
How many women are sleeping on time? People are sleeping at 12, 1, 2, all of that. So then it's not going to work. But if you have everything sorted, then collagen is a great booster. It also has glycine, which stimulates GABA, so we feel relaxed and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And recently, creatine monohydrate is what I add to it. But we'll go in this whole...
You know, I've heard such amazing things about creatine, and I know that a lot of the people I love and look up to in the field of nutrition swear by creatine.
Yeah.
We're coming back to, we spoke about heavy periods and now the light periods, which is...
Yeah.
Do you find a lot of people going through this or is it just me?
No, it's not just you. And light periods could be a lot of different reasons. I think in your case,
Might be stress as well.
stress can be a very big factor because, again, progesterone goes down and all of that stuff happens when the cortisol is off, right? Remember we spoke about the three-legged stool, you feel safe. Your period is like your report card, you know?
Oh gosh.
I know, it sounds, but it's a good way to judge what has happened in the whole month.
Right.
Now, when it comes to a light period, see, a light period is when you are okay with just a panty liner. That's a scanty period,
Okay.
not what you're talking about.
Okay, got it.
And that's very rare.
Right.
So a lot of people say, if you feel like, oh, my period used to be heavier, but now it's become light, that's different. That's because of perimenopause. Right? There's a phase in the middle where we will have shorter cycles or we will have scanty period. That's okay. That happens to everyone.
Right.
So that is okay.
Right.
But a sudden dip, because we were talking about it in the previous episode, right? Where I was like, I used to lift when I was 25 and stuff. Lift really heavy, 100 kgs of a deadlift.
Right.
You know, and suddenly I would see my flow has gone down.
Absolutely.
That's different.
Huh.
And if it's happening because you are 35, 38 or whatever, that's probably just a natural progression of perimenopause.
Right, yeah. Irregular periods. Now, I know a couple of my friends who are athletes and who miss their periods. Do extreme diets, extreme workouts, anything extreme seems to really cause issues with your period. How far is this true?
So it is true, right? And I currently, as we speak, I have so many clients who are, and this is for Indians I'm talking about, generally when they go below 18% body fat.
Do girls go? Wait, am I? No, I think I'm. Yeah, okay. No, not 18.
Generally,
It's
so
hard,
when
right?
I'm below 18, I skip periods. I start skipping periods, right? Look, getting a period, is like a luxury. You will get a period regularly and normally if your estrogen and progesterone are all fine. What is happening is because we are so stressed out or the perceived stress is so much, which is what you're talking about when people are just not eating enough or they are fasting too much or they're doing fasting and keto. Have you seen that trend?
Fasting and keto?
Keto together. Yeah. You have to really hate yourself or be really desperate to be able to carry that off. Do it when you're ovulating because your ovulation is when you are like really,
Yeah,
like your miracle is, hormone is on. So at that time, maybe you can do it. But otherwise, when people are doing it, overdoing it, then your HPA axis, your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, which is where the story begins, that gets dysregulated. Now, stress is not free on our body. When your HPA axis gets dysregulated, it eats up your B12 and iron. And when these two, anyways, we are low in, it's going to eat it up. What's going to happen? The blood supply to your ovaries goes down. and then follicular development will not happen, so we'll have irregular periods. It's a clear, also vitamin D goes down a lot when we are constantly over dieting, over exercising, or very low in our body weight.
So calcium and vitamin D, I've heard a lot about, right? How far does that help? How much does that help? Like supplementing calcium and vitamin D, how much does this, do these two supplements help with your period?
So for your period to be normal, you need to make sure that all of these levels are very well balanced, of course. But calcium and vitamin D play a very strong role during perimenopause. Very, very strong role, They are extremely important for us. But as far as irregular periods go, and if we come back to that conversation, when women are over-exercising or they're over-stressing themselves, or the cortisol goes up, where this whole drama of irregularity happens. And then if you feel like you are underweight, till you don't gain weight, your period is not going to come back to normal.
But doesn't the same problem happen for those who are overweight as well?
Yeah. If you are
Irregular periods,
30% body fat, right, 5% body fat. See, it varies for everybody. If you're a smaller frame, even 30% above will be a problem. If you're a larger frame, 35% above would be an issue. I think we need to understand, no matter what definition of body positivity anyone wants to give, keep the 5 kgs extra. Keep 5 kgs extra, no problem. That's your late night dinners, your, partying with your friends, your alcohol, whatever. But anything beyond those 5 kgs extra, fat is not a tissue anymore. It's an organ. It's an endocrine organ. It's secreting its own toxins. It's secreting its own hormones. So you need to cut back on that fat because, again, your body will take it as perceived stress. Right? So even extra fat is obviously not going to help.
So I think that, it again comes back to cycle syncing. Everything comes back to like syncing your cycle. And the moment you do that, I think that it will really, really help overall. That's what you're telling me, because every question I ask somehow comes back to the point of cycle syncing and how to sync your workout movement, your food and lifestyle with the phase of your cycle.
Absolutely, because our mood, our performance, our libido, and our sleep, all of this will fluctuate based on where we are in our cycle. And we need to pay attention to this. And we need to eat so we can optimize this. Most often, what do people feel about their period? I hate my period. It's such a nuisance.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Right.
This narrative, as women, we need to change it. And we need to see where's our power here.
Yeah.
It'll only happen when we understand our period better and we sync with it.
Okay, so let's be honest. You are one of the top nutritionists we have, and you are expensive. Oh. So, I really want for you to give my listeners the top 5 things that they need to be doing for their reproductive health and for their overall health and well-being.
Yeah.
Whether it is food, phases, movement, things that they can do in an inexpensive manner to take back the control over their lives. Because, when we can have, when we can work with this and not against it, I think that it would just help a lot of women, for them to just see it not as something as, oh my God, this again, instead of that. But if they can really work with it, I think that it would be amazing. So how can you help my listeners to not feel like this is like the bane of their existence, and to really thrive with their health?
So again, very basic things, right? Because everybody will benefit from just what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with food. 4 things you have to do in your khana only. Just 4 things.
Even 5 you can give. Yeah.
No, the point is that if you do these 4 things, let's not be over promising. 70% of your problems will come down just by doing these 4 things. Okay. Number 1, start your day with fat. Can't start with honey, lemon water. Don't start with banana and grapes. I would do a high fat nut. Macadamia, Brazil, walnuts.
Okay.
Higher fat nuts.
Okay.
So start with that, because no matter, people say, oh, but I don't have blood sugar problems.
Mm-hmm.
How many people someone posted on Instagram how many Indians are pre-diabetic. It's insane. I saw it and I'm like, wow, this is really crazy. Plus, pre-diabetes is one. But so many women have these hormonal problems, right? You cannot balance your hormones without balancing your blood sugars, period. Your blood sugar balance is the first thing that comes in place. And then, because some people just wake up and they directly want breakfast, right? Some people don't have time between like get up and then. Protein and fat for breakfast. Eat your eggs, eat your lentils if you're vegetarian, have a protein shake and you need minimum 20 grams, 30 grams of protein.
Right.
If you do these two things, see how your GLP-1.
So then all this idli, dosa.
I am not a fan, and I am now not apologetic about it because like the number of people who idli, dosa, poha, upma, okay, great. How much is it helping you?
Right.
You know, Indians should cut their grain consumption by half to begin with.
Right.
And this pre-diabetes, we are apparently number one, no?
Yes, number one.
Yeah.
Number one, and not shouldn't be so proud of the number one here.
And top 3 when it comes to infertility as well.
Oh, I didn't know about the infertility, but fats and protein.
Fat first or protein and fat for breakfast. Very, very important. And get to 20 grams. And poha dosa is not giving you that. Right. But there are some who still want it because it's made in the house. So please, if you're having poha, put a lot of butter in it. At least do that. Add a lot of vegetables in it. Right? Like find ways to add, I don't know, peanuts suit you, add peanuts to it, whatever.
Okay.
Then the second thing is, whenever you're eating carbs, you have to have equal amount of sabzi with it.
Right.
Right? So the ratio has to be 1:1 minimum. Make it 1:2, 1:3 if you feel like you want to lose a lot of weight. You lose weight like this. Right? Then the third thing is enough protein. You want to get, for people listening, and if they're vegetarian, every Indian woman needs around 80 grams of protein. I'm not saying take it right away because sometimes you'll get very sick.
Yeah.
You know, if you take too much, 60 to 80, everyone will benefit.
I mean, I take 100 grams of protein and I'm 50 kgs.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm
double.
saying this because I know not everyone's going to lift like you do and me.
Right.
So I go up to 120 sometimes and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Right? But at least let's start because some are getting 30 grams. You know? So work up to 80. How will you do it? 200 grams of hung curd. 150 grams of paneer. And 3 cups of thick dal. Say about 600 grams of dal.
How much protein does this have?
This total is 80 grams. Close to 80 grams.
Okay.
So if this
That's not so bad.
Yeah, it's really not so bad. But the problem is that even this much doesn't happen.
Right.
If you're a non-veg eater, it's very simple. 3 eggs, 300 grams of meat, split it, 150, your 80 grams is done.
Right.
So this is the third thing.
Protein. Wake up with fats and protein.
Yeah.
More protein. If you're having carbs, equal amount of vegetables.
So the blood sugar response is better.
Right.
The last thing, which is the most rewarding, but the hardest thing to do.
What?
Finish your dinner by
6 p.m.
5:30.
No.
Yeah, by 5:30.
5:30 is an incredibly tough ask.
But people who do it see the massive benefits because the
At
medicine.
5:30 in the evening.
I finish at 5:30 most days. Most days. Only during my luteal phase, I'll be like, okay, let's go.
But what if my blood sugar drops at like 3 a.m. in the night?
do a stack for dinner. You do a stack for dinner.
So
At dinner time, you do a stack.
what is a snack?
Either if yogurt suits you, do a cup of yogurt. If walnut suits you, do 1 date. Do half
See,
a
this
protein
is very
shake.
important because
Very important because especially in perimenopause, the blood sugar fluctuates too much. So they need a stack before. During pregnancy, pregnancy is a whole different topic. Let's not touch it. But yeah, eating your dinner at 5:36 is challenging, but it is the best thing.
But if you're saying that a snack is allowed before you go to bed, then that's doable then. Like if you're saying like a little bit of yogurt or honey or walnuts or
Manuka honey, walnuts. You can do like any of these things. Olives. Pick up half of, hard to find a clean protein bar, but yes, if you find one, then do it. Make your own clean protein bar at home. Have a half protein shake, whatever. Sometimes I'll do half cup rice only with a lot of bone broth. Soak it up, add a little lemon and just do that.
Right.
That's also fine. But what happens when we eat a late dinner is that our insulin goes up because our dinner will always have carbs. Blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up, right? Cortisol automatically will go up when this combination happens. When your cortisol is up, it's competing with melatonin. Melatonin is our sleep hormone. Cortisol always wins the war. and melatonin won't. Which is why suddenly at 11 o'clock, people are like, oh, I'm wide awake again.
Oh,
Because melatonin just lost the battle. You know, it's
Okay,
lost.
that makes
And now-
sense.
yeah. So if you
That
stay
makes
up
sense.
longer, which is why
Does this apply to everyone?
this applies to every single human being, man, woman, whatever.
Okay, I'm going to give this a try.
And then you'll automatically feel sleepy by 9:30, 10.
Okay.
You know,
Okay, fine. So these are the 4 things where food is concerned.
this is all about food. And I feel if I had to really add another piece, especially for Indian audience, women need to clear their emotional gunk. Emotions have such a big role to play on what's going on with our body. We know this now, thanks to so many experts, and especially Gabor
Me.
Mate. Yeah,
What-
I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he's changed the whole narrative for everybody. Now, everybody knows now that if I am not processing my emotions, they are going to transfer into a health concern.
That reminds me when I called you 2 years ago, when I was going through my health issues. I remember my best friend, she actually just sent me the screenshots of her messages to you talking about my issues and seeing if you could help. And I got on the call with you, and I think that you mentioned a bunch of things to fix, and then you said, "Are you doing therapy?" And I was like, give me something so that I can go to work tomorrow.
I don't.
Don't tell me to do therapy and I wanted to go to work yesterday. Are you kidding me right now with the therapy part?
But do you remember what you told me actually?
What did I tell you?
Of course, I have a therapist. Yeah. All that is done. All that is. And the minute I heard that answer, I knew that it's not done. And I'm like, how do I explain this?
Absolutely not done.
Yeah, she told me what to do. And I'm like, okay.
I hadn't spoken to someone like a nutritionist who was telling me that I also need therapy for an autoimmune condition. It's very hard, right? Like when you want a quick fix.
Yeah.
Just like how I reach for that painkiller when I get a painful period. You just want a quick fix.
Yeah.
You to invest that much time and effort into your health and into your mind. But now if you ask me, 2 years later, if you ask me what was the process and what would be the top 5 things that you think were healed me, therapy would be
One of them.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, emotional. Yeah, I always tell my clients, imagine there's a dustbin. It's filled up 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What happens after months?
Right.
It stinks. There'll be bugs. Our emotions are just like that. We have to keep clearing it out. We have to sit and process. And sometimes we're not capable to do it. So we need to pay somebody to do this. And yes, you can have great friends and you can have a great family, but you need an unbiased, unemotional, perspective. And you need to go to a therapist to get this done. This is so important. Our body is a representation of our thoughts, feelings, emotions, belief system. It's not just food. There are so many people who are eating really well.
I was eating extremely well. I was working out 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And food has this much leverage. There is a lot of other stuff. So
Right.
your belief system that comes in the picture. Which is why I keep telling young women, please start believing your period is your power. Because if you're going to be ashamed and you're going to be guilty of it, what does shame and guilt look for? It looks for punishment. Shame and guilt will always look for punishment,
Right.
So sometimes on a very psychological, psychosomatic level, we're doing this to ourselves. We're attracting these diseases.
I know. It is complicated. It is very complicated. But yeah, coming back to, we got food. We got our food right.
Yeah.
Now, movement, exercise. How much should we be exercising in a week?
I think we need to keep ourselves active every single day. It's a non-negotiable.
Like how long?
But I feel like if you're working out 1 hour daily.
Yeah, 1 hour. 1 hour daily?
Daily, yeah. Why we're eating daily, we're sleeping daily. What is this? Even on weekends, if you just do active recovery.
Play a sport. I play pickleball. It's fun.
Exactly. Play a sport, go for a walk. All of that is great, but it needs to be part of our lifestyle. It cannot be.
Right. So, food, movement every day, 1 hour a day. And
What else? Top 5 supplements that all women should be taking.
I think, this is so important. Vitamin D for sure. And take it in the morning with your fat first. So after you've had, take vitamin D3. Your normal levels for vitamin
I keep hearing that you take vitamin D3 with K2, and
that works
that's
as
the
well.
best way to take it.
That is, but
this true?
Yeah, it's true. But some people who are on blood thinners cannot do this at all. Right? So I'm just careful when prescribing that. But yeah, vitamin D3. You want your normal level to be between 60 and 80 or 60 and 70, not 20 and 30 and 35. It's a problem, and that's very linked to AMH as well.
Right.
To bring that up, your AMH can also go up.
Wow.
So, so this is number 1, vitamin D3. Then you definitely want your B complex. And you can add B12 and B6 to it if you're really stressed out, because your body eats up your B vitamins, especially when you're stressed out.
I keep hearing a lot about methylated B vitamins. Now, what's the difference between just any B vitamin that you get online or the methylated?
Bioavailability, right?
Yeah.
You can have the methylated one, but I've also seen research even on
Methylated, sorry.
methylated, yeah. But I've also seen research on basic B complex. Just get a basic one if you can't find
Both
a
work.
methylated one. Both work.
Okay.
And B12, there's a spray which I recommend,
Yeah.
which I'd love to talk about.
I like these sprays.
This one is magical. It's a vegan spray for B12. But
My B vitamin I take it as like with a spray, and even my glutathione
yeah,
and CoQ10.
CoQ10.
All-
It's all sprays.
Yeah, they're all sprays.
And for B12, for menstruating women, you want it to be at 700, not 300.
Oh, wow.
If you want to get pregnant, like that's the level you want to keep of
Right.
B12. So again, this is your B complex. So we've done vitamin D, we've done B complex. I would definitely recommend omega-3 because it's an essential fatty acid.
And EPA, DHA above 800.
Above 800. The problem is, like, I can't take omega-3 because I get acne with omega-3.
Really?
Yeah. Especially the fish oil one. Yeah. So then I can't take it. So now I have to still try taking a vegan one, but I'm not sold on the vegan one. So I'm like, I'm not sure. But I do eat a lot of, I eat salmon for breakfast with a mango salsa. Like there are times I'm having salmon at least 3 times. So I'm okay, but I wish I could take an omega-3. But it breaks me out, breaks out a lot of other women as well.
Okay.
Even B12 can do that, by the way, to some women. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, omega-3 for sure. I would 100% add a magnesium, without a doubt. Like a magnesium needs to be there. And then for sure, for Indian women, iron. Because yeah. So these would be the top 5.
I mean, yeah, I would recommend you check with your healthcare provider before taking supplements as well. I do take supplements, quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
You do take. So we're only talking from personal experience, and she's talking from hundreds and hundreds of success stories. Like, I mean, you've been doing this for 15 years now.
I've been away 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Insane. Like, I'm just so, I feel I was born to do this. Like,
Right.
especially also because of the stuff that my own struggles that I went through with endo and stuff. I've helped so many women diagnose it. I've helped so many women not have them multiple surgeries after. So
I can imagine it is incredibly fulfilling, because just the other day I received like a letter saying thank you. My husband feels a lot better with some of the treatments that you spoke about, and that was such an it was
healing your old self.
right. It was really special. I've never felt that way before, and I can imagine that you must be getting such
It's hard
stories every single day, and can be an incredibly fulfilling job.
It is. And I tell, so, earlier, like this was obviously maybe 7 years ago, I was like, I don't want to teach anybody else what I know.
Before.
Like you get possessive about
Right,
what you know.
Oh, yeah.
I genuinely feel like I had to break out of that. And now I have so many, at least 10 other nutritionists doing this.
Wonderful.
And now these stories that I hear is 10 times more, right?
Right.
Because I have my set of clients, but I also have these. So it's amazing.
That was a crucial conversation, and one that needs to keep growing. Another wonderful episode on Take 20. Take care, and remember, your health matters.